important part of this question that you may have overlooked is up there in the directions. It says that only worry about where theta is bigger than 0 but less than 90 degrees. So that's a fancy way of saying in quadrant 1. And in radians, so 0 to pi over 2. Theta is sandwiched in between those. But again, that also means in quadrant 1. So they want you to solve this. We've got some other ways that we can do this later, but really I'm trying to figure out what value of theta makes that true. And for part B, what value of theta makes that true. So you can't just undo like basic algebra steps like you're used to doing. You can't undo add or subtract, undo multiply or divide. You can't divide both sides by a secant because these are stuck together, things like that. You have to rely on unit circle here. So for part A, let's switch this over. I don't memorize values for secant, but I do memorize values for cosine. Cosine's the reciprocal of secant. So if I took the reciprocal of the left side, that's okay as long as I take the reciprocal of the right side. And in quadrant 1, cosine is a half right there. The angle that happens at is 60 if you're talking about degrees, and pi over 3 if you're talking about radians. So there's question 1. Part 2, where's cotangent 1? Well, I certainly don't memorize cotangent values, but I could do the reciprocal of the left side to make it tangent. I could take the reciprocal of the right side to make it 1. Reciprocal of 1 is still 1. And unfortunately, I don't memorize too many tangent values either. So worst case is, it's only in quadrant 1. So there's only 3 angles that we memorize in quadrant 1. So you could try sine divided by cosine here, and you would end up with this for tangent, not 1. You could guess and check this one. You could do sine divided by cosine there, and you would get this, again not 1. And then hopefully, eventually, you stumble upon right there in the middle. It has to be 1 because sine and cosine are the same. They're both square root of 2 over 2. And if you take anything divided by itself, you get 1. So in the middle of that would be 45 if you're talking about degrees, or pi over 4 if you're talking about radians.